Well, welcome to the channel with Reverend Dr. Jason W. Morrison, Theologist, New South Wales, Australia. I'm on the move, so there'll be a bit of background noise, but just bear with me on that. Again, if you're in a situationship or a relationship, long-term, or whatever you call long-term, I don't think long-term's relative to people that break up and get back together. That's not long-term, that's restarting. And every time you restart, just like the divorce statistics, if you're married once and get divorced, you have a good run at that. Every time somebody gets married again, it seems that they get divorced quicker. And it's the same in a relationship. If you split up and get back together again, you're probably going to break up quicker than the first time. And it's probably going to be for the same reasons, because a lot of people just haven't got the capabilities to resolve the actual issues. And of course they resurface. Some people after a breakup, they get an epiphany experience and try for a fake restart. Fake restarts when somebody comes up to the line to run a race and they're injured. A lot of athletes in desperation try and compete injured, but they're just not going to get the same result. It's the same in a relationship. People wreck things and then think they're going to be able to produce in the relationship, but they're injured. And of course, the injury aggravates the spirit and the soul, works against the relationship, and guess what? Boom! The relationship ends again. Somebody breaks down. What can also happen after a breakup, especially if it's the same toxic people that are causing it, sometimes what you've got to realise is you've got to watch out for the people you meet. They'll present themselves as wanting peace, but if you look at the background of their life, if they've been in a 5, 10, 15, 20 year marriage of absolute dysfunction, they like drama. Now they're going to paint the picture that they like peace, but if they like peace so much, why did they stay in dysfunctional marriages and relationships for years and years and years on end? Because it keeps them subconsciously entertained. And you have to watch out for this. Because if you do have your life in order and you're on point, these dysfunctional people, they'll just ride in it for their ego. Nothing more. They're just doing it to build their ego. That's all it is. It's not love. They'll tell you it's love when they're getting their way, but you can tell by their fruit it's not love. If they're not resolving the issues that really matter, you know that's not love, and they think you're stupid. Okay, they think you can't tell that they're not genuine. They think you're vain, but it's only because they're vain. See, a lot of relationship troubles relative to the vanity, the foolishness that faithfulness, loyalty and devotion does to people. See, a lot of people think faithfulness and loyalty and devotion is to stick through, being abused and all this other mental health stuff that wrecks people, all the micro-incremental Dark Triad types of behaviour and shit that wrecks people. But that's not true. That's not true. And that's not Christian. Okay, Christianity is to love your neighbour as yourself. Well, if you're allowing yourself to be abused, at some point or other, you're going to watch other people getting abused or contribute to their abuse. So some abuse begets abuse, right? Let's just get down to it. That's how it is. Abuse begets abuse, and people get used to it. So if they're allowing a triangulated situation for you, or it's them directly just abusing you, they know what they're doing, but they can't understand possibly what's happening in your mind about it. Some people think abuse is a joke and fun. First sign of that's sarcasm. You'll see it if you're in a relationship with a single parent, just listen how they behave with their children. Just listen. you'll soon see what the nature of the beast is working underneath. You just will. So when unresolved breaks into a relationship and you're trying to navigate it, if it's not going to be navigated quickly, it's not going to be navigated at all. As simple as that. If the person's not on it for the benefit of the relationship, listen to what I'm telling you, they're not going to be on it at all. They don't want to. They can't comprehend how it's affecting you. They don't care because it's not affecting them. And let me tell you, the reason why it's not the unresolved's not affecting them the way it's affecting you is usually, number one, they've caused it. Number two, they think it's okay. Number three, it's going to be used as a way of them escaping the relationship if it comes to a point where they get bored or it looks like they need to do more work to keep it going. Number four, it gives them an easy out. If there's unresolved lingering over the relationship and you're a person of order and resolve and fixing stuff and keeping things on point, these people that are used to dysfunction, that are used to chaos and turmoil, that are used to things being wrong and out of order and shit, they're going to keep that unresolved there so they get the easy out. They'll cause a reverse discard even. They'll go as far as that. They'll force a reverse discard through aggravation, torment, oppression, depression. They'll use triangulation to cause a breakup. They'll make you... They know how to time it, right? These people know how to time it. If they're just going to and fro, getting fucking sex without commitment and shit, they know how to time a reverse discard. As soon as you look for commitment, they'll start to bung on an act. They'll start to cause unresolved. That's when you will get forced into a reverse discard because they don't want to do the work. They want the easy way. They don't want commitment. They've had enough of it. They've tried that before. It hasn't worked. They've picked the wrong people. They've been robbed, stolen against, abused, sexually abused, verbally abused, beaten. They just can't pick the right people. So if you come along and you've got order in your life and you know how to function, they're just going to get bored. It's just a matter of time before they get bored. You will heal them. You'll bring them to a point of healing, up to a certain level of healing. They won't even be comfortable going beyond that. They'll still be self-destructing in front of you, chewing up your energy and wasting your time, and you're allowing it. You're the only one to blame because you're allowing it, because you're allowing your faithfulness and loyalty to blind you from the life you should be living now without that abuse, psychological assault, emotional vandalism. These people know what they're doing. They've done it all their lives. And these people are used to not having anything. Okay? So all your good work and all your goodwill and all your effort in life to navigate the fucking circus that it is to get somewhere, these people are never going to be able to do that. Things are never going to be able to change for them. They're envious of where you're up to. They're using your stability and your success and your capabilities in life to stroke their ego. That's all it is. They're just stroking their ego until they get bored. And once they get bored, guess who's going to go? They are. Now, whether they choose to just say, I'm sick of it and leave, it's up to them. But a lot of the time that won't happen because there's going to be an element of conscience involved. If you've really done the right thing, you've really made the effort. This happens to a lot of women and more so men now as well. You've made a conscious effort. These people know the timing. They know how to time things, right? I've seen it 1,000 times. And then they make a wrong decision. They ruin the relationship. They either get discarded or discard themselves. Usually they'll even go so far, as I said before, as setting up circumstances for you to get rid of them so that they can leave without conscience. They didn't want to stay, but they know how to set you up. That's why they leave the unresolved in place, because the unresolved is going to force a discard, whether it be from them or by you. It's going to force it. That's all there is to it. At the right time. See, too many people, and I've said this before, I've dealt with people in cults. They're being theologically abused, and all other abuse within the cults flows from that. I mean, if these people can see that they're deceiving people, they can see the weaknesses of those people, and they'll take advantage. Okay? That's why people that come out of theological abuse, they may never come out of it. It'll haunt them for the rest of their lives, because things of God aren't supposed to hurt and harm you. They're supposed to help you. It's the same with people that have been abused in relationships. Okay, they know how to navigate good people. They know how to navigate circumstances that they are wondering themselves, how the hell did I get into this situation? I'm not used to this. Stability, accountability, responsibility, health, healing. No lying, no cheating, no taking money. This person's actually fucking normal and healthy and fit. Sensible. They get bored. That's why they leave the unresolved there. Because they know it'll just take the pressing of a couple of buttons and the relationship's gone. And don't worry, they're in collusion, if it's triangulated against you, with the triangulator. They think you're stupid. You're watching all this taking place and you're just going, this person, honestly, I've told them it's just a matter of tolerance. I've seen these people push it to discard or a reverse discard, like you got to go, and then come back kicking and screaming, right, in a gutter. Come back because the grass wasn't greener on the other side. It was never going to be greener on the other side. But that's the mentality of these people. They get bored, they're backbiting, they're pulling down the relationship, they're in collusion with their children, laughing at things and destroying things. If they're not in collusion with their children, they're in collusion with their sick friends, sick-minded friends that don't want to be left single on their own, or other family members that they can just coherently whinge to, that have no wisdom in their minds about being constructive. And you'll find they'll whinge about their family members as well. If it's not one, it's the other. If it's not the other, it's the other. And then it'll be the opposite. It's just a serial parade of confusion and delusion that you're watching from the outside looking in going, my goodness. But then guess what? You say to yourself, well, it's only a matter of time before it all turns on me. And of course, something will happen. And you're standing there watching and you're going, oh goodness me, here we go. And they don't think you're aware. And you're saying to them, and then they get the epiphany. Uh-oh, I've made a mistake. I've had women sitting at my door, knocking on my door at all hours of the night, let me in, let me in. Stealing to try and get my attention. Kicking and screaming, chasing me up the street. Several different ones who have made stupid bloody decisions. You'll get the ones that disappear, but then you see them later and they're aged and old and they've really got their lifestyle. You can tell from past behaviour, future behaviour, and where that's all going to end up for them. I don't worry anymore. If somebody fucks up, that's on them and their crony little friends and children. And that's what you've got to call these people for what they are, evil. If you're being good and offering good and they're not getting it, they're fucking evil. And that's what they're going to go back to because they like it. Oh yeah, they'll don't expect them to do better. They'll go back to what they're used to, getting robbed, getting cheated, getting used, getting sex here and there. It's all repetitive, it's all predictable. And you can't work with that if you're a constructive, healthy, well-minded person. They're just with you for their ego, winging it for as long as they can. And you'll know that it ain't going to last because they self-prophesy. Some people haven't got any kids and shit. They just want to be on their fucking own and you're a convenience for them. You've got to be aware of all of this. It's a minefield, but you've got to have superhuman human strength and understanding that these are the possibilities when you meet people. And stay on point. I keep saying to you, you've got to stay on point. Don't let it affect you. Just watch. Oh, it's amazing to see the destruction. They think you're blind. You know, it's just, you have to be very, very aware of what you're dealing with. Because you can get physically hurt, your mind can go into a fog, you can be driving and lose concentration, you can be driving and start to doze off and have an accident. It's not a game. There's a lot you're up against when you're trying to have a relationship with fucking people that aren't really, that are trying to live two lives basically. Yeah. I just say, look, I just put it all into the Dark Triad. I don't worry about fucking narcissism, dark empath, super empath, blah, blah, blah. Evil's evil to me. If I see micro-incremental subterranean levels of evil, that's all Dark Triad to me, because anything that brings harm is evil. It's as simple as that. You can name it, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, evil's evil. And some people just end up back in their evil, in their drugs, in their covert emotional incest, in their family dysfunction. There's nothing you can do to help them. And it's not your job. Never was your job. And it throws these people out when you have your senses, when you're not insecure, when you are on point physically, mentally, emotionally and spiritually, and they're trying to sabotage who you are. And you're watching this destruction. And they're blaming you. Right? That's how destructive these people are. They're everywhere. It's not just one particular group or anything like that. These people are everywhere. They're self-destructive. They'll do what they can to take you down. They'll bring you into a relationship. And then after you're hooked, then you'll see the claws come out. Every time. You'll see. They'll start to micro-incrementally decrease in their input, in their attention, in their communication. If you're good at sex, they'll keep taking the sex. So don't worry about that side of it. And as a matter of fact, protect yourself. And usually if they know the relationship's starting to deteriorate because of what they're doing, they'll be speaking to other people. There'll be somebody else there that they can shift to. That's just how it works. Don't be disappointed about that. As a matter of fact, you're probably better off laughing at that, because it's just another form of self-destruction. It just goes to show how unvaluable you were. You were the one before the next one. That's all it is. So you have to be superhuman. You have to be aware of what's going on. That's all there is to it. You have to know that people are devious. They know how to charade. They know how to parade themselves. And they're not going to stop. That's just how they are. And if you get caught in this and you've done your best, accept it, lick your wounds, learn from the experience, and if you have to, just tell them to fuck off, because they will expose themselves, especially these covert emotional incestual ones, which are prevalent now because of the single mother rates and the amount of them. They're surrogating their children, and the younger ones are learning off the older ones, and it's prevalent now. And that's why we're trying to bring that part of this dysfunction to attention. This is Reverend Dr. Jason W. Morrison, theologist, New South Wales, Australia. Bye for now.